Indie Council is in session. Welcome, everybody. This is the place for the leading voices from across the industry to gather to talk news, titles, and everything indie. I'm your master of ceremony, Jill Grote. And today we're coming to you via Flock, one of this week's big indie drops. And extremely beautiful and fun game. We're all here. You can see all of our fun bird choices and our herd of silly walrus creatures. But we'll get to that in a little bit. For right now, joining the council, Comms and Communication Director at Ivy Roads Games, Jenny Wyndham.
Hello. I feel so formal.
That is such a professional job title. Oh my god.
I know. I realized we hadn't actually got to use it on the show yet, so I'm like, I'm putting it.
Aww,
There's an adult on this podcast?
Yeah.
Goodness gracious.
Damn, it's all a lie.
Yeah. Also, me and Jenny picked the same bird coloring, so
Very good choice.
it's very important. Also on the podcast, getting a new pair of fuzz creatures this week, Mike Towndrow. Hello, Mike.
Little Bree and little Bats. I'm so excited for Friday.
I
My
can
two little
remember
angels.
Bree and Bats, but I forget what their Christian names are.
Oh,
So
they're government names.
government
Excuse me, ma'am.
names.
This is not a Christian household.
I apologize
Brioche.
for trying to force religion on you.
Apology accepted. Brioche, aka Bree, and Ciabatta, aka Bats. My two little loaves. Jesus, my two little loaves of bread.
Lobs of bread. I want a lob of bread right now. And then adding one more podcast onto a very long list, Janet Garcia.
Hello.
Hi, Janet.
Hi.
I think you're moving. My setup is strange because I am recording my gameplay, so I'm kind of apologies for looking over a bunch to everybody in the chat, but your studio is looking more and more finished as we go on. I can't tell if you changed. There you go. You got some things up there, so it's not quite. I love the little unraveled that it has an actual like yarn
yarny,
attached to it.
Little Yarny. He has a grappling hook.
Okay.
I mean, I don't know if that's true. I don't think he can grapple with it. He can like string it enough where he makes like a rope. But I don't think he's really grappling.
I guess technically, yeah, if we're talking technicalities, he doesn't have a hook.
Yeah.
I guess it's not really yarn-like.
That's exactly what
Sure.
I was
He's made of yarn. He's
focusing
made
on.
of yarn. He's made of yarn.
I think he's made of
He's
yarn.
yarned up. He's definitely
Where
made
did
of
everybody
yarn.
go? I've completely lost everyone.
I'm still on the same perch.
Yeah.
Are we still on the same perch?
Oh,
okay, hold on.
Oh, I wasn't sitting on the perch.
Oh, in
I
the
was
game?
back
Yeah,
here
I was
like
just
a
kind of hanging out.
creeper.
I just started, flying around trying to show people the lovely game that is Flock. Okay, I'm back. Look at all of our creatures having a great time. If people don't know what this game it is a relaxing multiplayer creature recording. It's not really a creature capture.
Creature
It is
observing.
Creature observing. We are recording a bunch of creatures for our Aunt Jane, who's like
Mixed
really
feelings on
demanding.
Aunt Jane.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're not sure how we
I don't
feel
like
about her.
Does that mean we're all related? Because it's all of our aunts. So we're
It's
like
all of our
cousins
aunts.
now.
We're
Yeah.
all cousins.
We're all cousins.
in this game.
Maybe she's like the family friend kind of aunt.
Oh, like auntie.
Oh,
like,
yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Okay,
that's
that
true.
makes sense.
Like
like my-
everyone's aunt.
Yeah, it's like my Aunt Vicky from Yonkers, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah. Shout out to Aunt Vicky from Yonkers.
Yeah.
And we've all just finished the kind of tutorial level and opened up a little bit of the world. So I think what I want to do is kind of fly down there and see what's going on, see what kind of things we're doing, but also
Sure.
we're going to try to actually run the podcast within this world. So as we are flying around, let's talk some
Like
indie
a-
news.
The TikTokification of podcasts.
Yeah. It's kinda like,
Apologies in advance.
Yeah,
What's,
no, it's going to
what
be
do
great
they-
content.
what do they have it in like Facebook's meta? Didn't they have like a what they called their little hub area, their kind of PlayStation home type thing, where they're like, we'll all hang out here. Like PSVR had this too. It's like we're at the hangout space VRification.
It's not just the metaverse, is it?
Doing a meeting.
Metaverse?
Yeah, I guess it's like the metaverse. Yeah, this is the metaverse of the podcast.
Look at these things.
The
What are
Flockiverse?
these?
Yeah, like what if we recorded from inside these different games?
It's
Yeah,
kinda
we
like
could just
Animal
do that from
Crossing
now on.
time. Remember back in the day when
Yes.
Animal Crossing was the thing, you know?
Yeah, the good
Animal
old days when
talking.
the world was locked down and we were all
I
going
was
crazy. Yeah.
legitimately talking about that last night, and I don't remember why. I think it was about Danny Trejo, but it's going to be very much like that.
I was watching the latest episode of Bar Rescue over the weekend. Danny Trejo was helping rescue this bar.
Oh, that's nice. He's got a
Yeah.
place down in LA.
Yeah,
Yeah,
Trejo's Tacos.
Trejo's Tacos, and he also I heard that he like had saved this donut shop as well, and then
Allegedly.
added, like, so he has like a because I didn't Google it, you know what I mean? Someone just told me on Twitter, and
Right,
like, I gotta
right,
be honest,
right,
a lot
right.
of times I just believe y'all. I don't be fact checking these like unimportant anecdotes, but yeah, so he has a donut shop apparently too. And people said that I'm like, why does he have a donut shop? And they're like, oh, it was gonna close, and he was like, so he's like out there doing it for the culture, allegedly.
Right.
You know,
Allegedly.
Point of Bar
Equally
Rescue, Twitter.
equally important news
According to
in
John
the
Taffer.
indie space. Let's head over to release date drops. Y'all like that professional segue that I just did right there?
Somebody needs to do it.
I know. I'm like hypnotized by the flying in this game. So
Yeah, it's so fantastic.
I'm
Also, we can
rendered
do little
incapable.
emotes and like wave to each other and cheer and stuff. I don't know if y'all have noticed.
Oh, I
little-
automatically did the sad one.
Your soul just knew. It was like
It's like I need to hit left on the D-pad for some reason.
Yeah. So for release dates this week, I've seen a couple just drop suddenly for no particular reason during this very busy, fun, exciting week. Oh my gosh, Uncle Reg has just dropped up a shepherd and a lost sheep. I'm gonna get a sheep, you guys. I'm so excited. I love the sheep in this game.
Was that one of the release day drops? Uncle Reg dropping a new game?
dropping a new sheep, everyone.
Alongside the sheep, we're looking at Valley Peaks is dropping July 24th. Love Go
Finally.
See is August 14th. Just Crow Things August 15th. And possibly Replaced. They had a tweet go up that said
Oh, really?
a sort of like, okay, I don't want to, allegedly, we're going to.
Allegedly. According to John Taffer.
A tweet went up that
Someone
was
on Twitter?
like more news coming soon sort of tweet. So you'll want to keep an eye out that.
Could it be
I love
just
how
like a Gamescom tease?
Yeah,
We
probably a
know-
Gamescom thing.
Could be a
Their
Gamescom
preference.
tease, but again,
Yeah.
I want it to be a date drop, so I'm throwing it out there as news.
I could see that being a shadow drop during Opening Night Live.
Yeah, that could happen. Also, I named my character Indian Former, and it's kind of jarring me every time he calls me that. I'm gonna yank the sheep out of fear, but I lost the sheep.
I
Just kinda
am at the
circling
sheep.
around. Are you at the sheep? Where's the sheep?
I got the sheep. If you could, there's no like real signifier radar kind of thing where we could find each other. So I'm near trees.
Well, there is a
can
Wait,
tell you
there
that.
it is. Yeah, hit the Y button or up button.
Oh wait, hold on. I have to.
Oh.
Sorry, I have to name the sheep.
Wait,
Buttercup.
no, I was really close to the sheep. Where's? I was
also
really
saw
close
a
to a
sheep,
sheep.
and I tried to pick it up, and it said it was for Mike, and I was just like, okay, game,
My sheep.
it's fine. I'll just
Okay, I'm
be
just
here
gonna follow
shirtless.
Janet because I see her around here, and we're all
Sorry,
just
I'm
having
stuck in a
good time
cutscene.
floating around.
All right, what'd you say?
Oh,
Why?
I see a sheep. I see it or something. Oh, it's just the walruses. And they're fine.
Oh, there
I've got
y'all are.
3 walruses already, though, so I don't need to capture a new walrus.
So because I
in-
got this sheep, you can't claim this sheep. It's my sheep.
Well, I think
Buttercup is mine.
I think the game also.
Cup? Did you name it?
It prompted me to name it. One of the options was Buttercup.
Oh, I love it. Okay, I'm coming over to Buttercup. I'm coming over to Jenny and Buttercup.
Ooh, okay, I found you.
Gosh, how are you guys so far away? How did I just wander
Oh,
off
the miracle
trail?
of flight.
Okay, where's the sheep?
Buttercup was in that hole, but Buttercup is also in my flock. So I don't know if
Okay.
you could get your own Buttercup.
Oh my gosh, I love Buttercup. Okay, let's
Thank
see
you.
if we can have Buttercup go do something for us. Can we get her to a hill?
I'm sorry, is your name Aunt Jane, Miss Demanding? Jeez. God damn.
When we are all having a great time, and this week is obviously a great week for indie releases of all kind, and we're all celebrating, we're having a great time. But I do want to again every time that we're talking about indies having a great time, I don't want to push to the side the fact that it is a really hard time of the year for indies, or not even just of the year. It's been a hard year for indies and game makers in general. And there was a really good article up on the wire by Megan Farokmanish. I'm sorry if I mispronounced her name.
I think.
We'll go for it. Called Death Occurs in the Dark. And a couple of quotes that I pulled out of it just that really caught my eye were Chris Barassa of Red Hook fame says the gold rush is over. And then friend of the show, Zalavier Nelson Jr. says, survive till 25 assumes that we are encountering a long winter rather than having burned down our own crops for 3 years previous. So both of those creators actually have launches out this week. Darkest Dungeon 2 came out on a new console, I believe it was PlayStation 5.
Not to interrupt, but there's a sheep near me if you need it.
Oh, I want a sheep. But also, click holding, which we will be talking about later in the show, is out this week as well. Oh, okay. I got a stupid little sheep butt. And I'm going to get it instead of Mike. So please go and read that. I am going to link that article down below so you can read a lot more about what's going on and the kind of tensions and feelings in the indie space right now. Because, again, it's celebratory week. We're having a great time here in Flock. But we always want to keep in mind that things, are not always great everywhere. Okay, I have, oh my gosh, I'm gonna name mine Romulus. That is the name of my sheep.
It's a good name.
Yeah.
Sorry, not to have you solely carry this podcast. Yes, it is a incredibly tough time for the indie scene. I think I think July is probably the most breathing room we have at the moment, but despite that, it's still on the PR side of things, we're very much in Gamescom mode already. There's not really a huge break. I think on the media side, I still have a media email through 6-1. So I don't know about y'all. I'm constantly getting flooded with Gamescom emails already. I'm even getting emails way in advance for PAX West. So it seems like there's not really a good time for games to carve out that space and be effective with their pitching. It's just inboxes are getting flooded and it's a really rough time. And we're kind of in kind of getting at with this week in particular, it is this is the new May 9th of July. It's not going to stop.
Yeah, 100%. And next week is about as wild. So it's been an intense week. Is everybody doing okay, by the way? I think a lot of the reason why we're in Flock today is just to have a nice, relaxing moment to kind of come together and enjoy indie games, because I think a lot of us have been, I mean, I guess I can't speak for everyone, but I've certainly been in overdrive mode, just trying to get everything together, get all my coverage together. I just put up, I believe if this has gone up Thursday, which it should, I've just put up my review for Dungeons of Hinterberg. So go check out what I thought. But
what'd you think? In 3 words.
In 3 words or less, Dungeons of Hinterberg. Done.
Sorry, I meant 5 words.
Is.
But yeah, I know Janet also has been putting a lot on her. Not only are you creating a new podcast and building up a new studio, but you're also at Project Inbox 0, which I appreciate greatly.
Only 4 emails left. So
congratulations.
I'm basically done. 4 inboxes.
It's the plot of Zero Dark 30.
Yeah, that was in the pitch deck somewhere in there. But I think to bring it back to the article and other aspects that it's getting at too, is that discussion of how do you stay afloat in the midst of, I wouldn't say a funding crisis, but just how do you maintain a studio and the holding up, talking about using the example of Necrosoft that's making Demon School, talking about them getting contracted work where it's we're busy making this project, and the idea of, it's interesting because I actually was just reading about this and the I think the book I'm reading is Start Finish by Charles Gilkey. And I'm really enjoying it. One thing it mentions is like, projects and how much time you have, and the idea that like sometimes you need to like do a project to fund a project. But I think the idea of that happening simultaneously for studios is, certainly not ideal, but it is how like things have to happen sometimes. And I think it also shows the different ways the issues in the industry cut across levels within the industry, where I think a lot of people incorrectly look at the indie space as a sort of safe haven from the evils of the industry. It's like, oh, this is where the true art is happening. Like, and there's great stuff happening in that space, like across like all spaces in gaming. But there's also like pressures of funding, the having to bend towards capitalism, and certainly like a plethora of issues too within leadership. I think it's easy, and we often see like the bigger exposés come from like larger places, but the indie scene has had its fair share of leadership scandals in terms of complaints and working environments. So I think the idea of their struggles is just a little bit quieter is really underscores the indie scene once you sort of remove the there's this nice little game and someone got to make it. Like, you kind of get to see how things come to be, and that often does involve, a lot of darkness. Or just pivoting in the way that you end up doing things, and maybe that means for like unideal conditions, and maybe even to a degree unideal projects for people.
Yeah, and I think one of the other things, because actually just this week I was talking to a team, or a member of a team who recently, they had to basically say their studio is going to be laying off a bunch of folks, and it's not like a big company layoff. It's they created a game, they're an indie team, budget is super tight, and it just did not sell enough for them to continue with the team that they had. And so it's like really, I think the point that you made, Janet, about the indie space being much more volatile and not this like safe haven of independent creative work being freely available, I think that's a really important one. And we've talked about it on the podcast before, but the mass exodus of knowledge that we have just continuously is really, I think, one of the things that's more prominently in my mind. I actually just got off a call today with a person who's brand new to the industry, got hired as a junior, has no experience with social media or community management. And so I was talking with her about just like all of the places to go and resources. And it just really struck me because I'm like, man, we have so many people who I think would be great resources who actually just aren't here anymore because they are not in the industry. They're with us like alive, but they're not in the games industry. And they're not doing this work anymore because it became infeasible. And I have friends who are saying, if I can't find a job the next month, I have to find a job elsewhere, and I can't be working in games anymore. So, yeah, it's still happening.
And yeah, as much as I love working in this interesting stuff, sometimes it is rough. It's like we've said in the past, it's so hard seeing so many of our friends and colleagues go through nonsense that they don't deserve. I just tweeted out a thing about, and I sent you guys the direct screenshot of it. Got sent a lovely email, asking if I'm deaf in all caps and a big old tirade. It's taxing sometimes, and day by day it gets hard to shrug things off as much as I like to say I am shrugging things off. But like on top of all the showcase work, on top of trying to keep up with games and give people their spotlight, on top of my PR work, the last thing I need is grief from a rude individual, and it does quite a lot of chip damage. So yeah, like I do understand the impulse to just be like, for lack of a better term, excuse the language, fuck it, I'm done. I'm gonna go work in a different industry that might treat me a little nicer. Yeah, it's a rough time. It's like it's such a wonderful time for the games themselves, but for the people behind them, I feel like we're all in one way or another in different varying ends of the spectrum being pulled through the ringer quite a bit.
Yeah. And it just creates a situation where like that not only happens, but we tend to take it more because it is such a volatile space, and you're like, oh, thank goodness at least that I have a job. And it throws a lot more like I don't know how much you want to talk about what your current project that you're working on is, but just how many people are trying so hard to get in because they need an in the industry right now.
Yeah, I mean, like when it comes to devs trying to show off their game and get a platform for the game, I could definitely provide some context with like the showcase stuff and like in this current stage. Like the most heartbreaking part of this process, and I'm sure Jenny knows this all too well, is sending the inevitable rejection emails, because that's just kind of like the nature of the beast. We got a total of 1,208 submissions for September, and we only have the bandwidth because we always want to put on a show that's under an hour for the purposes of making sure the audiences and viewers are engaged, and just so we're not having games bury one another, because I feel like you tend to get in that kind of mindset when you start pushing hour and a half a little bit. So that's what, like roughly 1350 rejection emails they have to send, and even from other like fellow showcases, like we've heard that like submissions have been like in abundance compared to like previous years and previous events, and yeah, it just kind of goes to show that so many games are really just looking for that shot, looking for that platform. And yeah, it's hard, especially like when I have over 1,000 submissions and we can only pick 35 to 40.
Yeah. It's like it is, even for things like me where I'm writing about games and like
Mike,
it's an overwhelming amount of.
Oh, my bad.
Yeah.
What happened?
Kind of what was it? That kid from.
I was getting way.
Was it Hey Arnold? I was like, okay, I don't know if anyone else.
Listen, I was charming this little snoot character who was in a hole somewhere. I just got really comfy and cozy. I thought we were just hanging out talking.
Good. Yeah, no, it's all good. It's like me when I dissociate, Yeah.
Oh, I just got
sorry,
pulled
Jill,
up into some sort of wind situation. That was a lot of fun.
Yeah, was Mike breathing on the mic?
But no, like
Twisters now in theaters.
It's the same thing as like when you run an indie specific site or write about indies and you have a week like this that is such an avalanche of games, there's so much, and you do have to start limiting what you're talking about just because you as a human being cannot cover that much, and you really want to, but at the same time it's like I just can't do everything all at once, and then having to be able to write back and be like, yeah, I'm really sorry, I can't handle that right now. I always feel so bad about saying that to anybody, but especially to developers that are maybe all on their own, solo devs who are like, hey, I released last week and like, I'm really sorry, I don't have the ability to play an entire game that released last week like right now so that I can talk about it before it comes out of the zeitgeist, I guess, if that makes sense.
And it comes with guilt, right? Like, because genuinely, we are, at first and foremost, we're fans of video games. We like to play video games. We like to talk about video games. So, like, when you see something really cool that you just don't have the time or bandwidth to cover, that sense of guilt comes in. And at least for me, I try to come up with any excuse to carve out the time to do so. But, dude, like, I'm still behind on SGF stuff. Like, just between, like, getting sick right after SGF and Harley passing away and like just all the showcase stuff and work, like time is precious,
right?
And there's not
and it's always
that
moving.
much to go around, and it's always moving. Like, I can't believe, again, like I said earlier, I can't believe I'm talking like Gamescom and PAX West. I had a Game Awards meeting this week. Like, it's wild.
Oh.
I will say, like, when to not be so doom and gloom, through submissions, again, just to talk about showcase stuff, like through submissions and being a little transparent, if I do see something really cool, like let's say I do see a cozy game that looks really cool, like I'll shoot Jenny a DM and be like, hey, you guys somehow need games. check this one out, or like if I see something that would be a good fit for the mix, I'll shoot Justin a DM. Like we try, I try to share the wealth a little bit, and try to make sure like some cool games are getting that attention that they deserve.
I've 100% done that to you, where I'm like, hey, Mike, you might want to check this out.
Yeah. I mean, that was last year. How our opener was thanks to you with Secret of Crystal Mountain. That was a connection that, that was a connection that you made, and it's necessary because it all can't fall onto one organization's shoulders.
Yeah. So it's a harsh time, but it's also moving to lighter and topics. I'm getting a phone call from Uncle Reg. Let's talk about the topic of the show, which is just July 16th and all of its festivities as we are in Flock enjoying our time, because it is a wonderful week for indie fans and anyone who enjoys making games or playing games, because there are a ton of games dropping this week. Some of the highlights including Flock, obviously we are playing, Magical Delicacy, Clickholding, Bo, Path of the Teal Lotus, Dungeons of Hinterberg, and Shim. Does anybody want to talk about any of their standouts from the... I mean, that's just a few. There are hundreds more, it seems like. But anybody want to talk about what their standouts are for this week?
I mean, I think, just starting with what we're playing, really. Because, for me, there's games that stand out because I'm looking forward to playing them. Clickholding is only, a 30-minute game, and I'm just saving it for my stream tomorrow. Dungeons, I'm looking forward to that forever. But Flock, honestly, I'm really enjoying... So just also what the game is, we did mention at the top, it's kind of a creature observer, creature collector, has some of that Pokemon DNA. But the thing I'm really enjoying about Flock is that it reminds me of the same feeling I get from playing Solar Ash, where it's a game that is about just moving through space and enjoying the feeling of moving through that space. There's mechanics within it. There's mechanics to charm the different creatures, and you can go around and try to find them. In my playthrough right now, I just did a little time trial of get 3 of these in 2 minutes and then come back. So there's definitely things there if you want a more structured experience, and I love that because I'm a big fan of a more direct progression in my games. I don't really enjoy playing stuff just for fun. I'm I want the clout of the credits. That's just what I like. So this has that, but it's also just it's nice to look at. It has really joyous animations, and I think it's definitely...
Speaking of joyous animations, I just sheared my first sheep, and it's got a stupid little naked body on my screen right now.
Cute.
Continue.
It really just has it's just beautiful to look at. And I think if you're someone that enjoys the funky experiential stuff, you'll enjoy it. But I think if you also are open to something that's a little bit more experiential and relaxing, but you maybe still need that structure, it has that too. And I think it threads that needle really well. So it's nice to have this out. It's a very chill game where I could do nothing in it and I still kind of feel like I'm doing something, and it's
feel fulfilled.
I think it's easy to stumble into a progression quest. It's also one of those titles that, and I've noticed this in kind of this I would say this is more of a open area than an open world game, but there's something to be said about these structures of... There's sort of 2 ways to go about open world. There's one where it's kind of full of a lot of things to do, and then there's one where it's so open, but the joy is just combing over the environment of it, not necessarily having interaction after interaction after interaction. I think this does that really well and captures that sub-style of the open world genre, even though I wouldn't exactly say it's an open world game because it's just these little tiny areas that are connected, but it evokes a lot of that. So I'm really enjoying that, and I'm excited to check out the other 2 that are at the top of my list, which are Clickholding and Dungeons of Hinterberg. Again, I've played Dungeons before, but I haven't played it yet, so those are standouts for me.
Yeah, and just to add to a little bit more of the Flock commentary, what I really appreciate is the multiplayer. I feel like oftentimes, especially in these more relaxing games, multiplayer is often more of a chore and not very enjoyable.
Oh.
And I think what I appreciate most about Flock is like we were all able very quickly, very easily hopped into a little game together. You can join and play as like depending, what is it? Like you don't have to be at the same place at the same time in the game, and I think that's really cool. So you're not having to like start the same file together and make sure you're keeping the progress together, which again I feel like particularly with a lot of like my experience has been with cozy farming sim adjacent type games. I feel like the multiplayer in those is always so clunky and very lacking. And so to have this be so smooth and so seamless to hop in and just enjoy being in a space together like this is just great. So I just wanted to add that compliment there.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah.
really... Oh, go ahead, Mike.
No, I was just gonna say to add on to that, it's also it feels great to just fly around and chill and it's really sorry I'm doing this catch 3 mules thing. It's really scratching the Pokemon catch 'em all itch. Like I collected all the Cosmics. Was that the family name? Comets. And I got that little sense of bliss. I was like, oh yeah, finish that family. Heck yeah. So yeah, despite there being objectives and things to like Janet was saying, like get that clout of checking off objectives, I kind of just want to roam around and find little ads.
Yeah, I think it's very smart of them. You can see on my gameplay, my little squad right now. I think it's very smart of them to let you have just a bunch out so you can kind of feel that joy of like, yeah, I just caught this thing and I charmed it and now it's flying with me in my little squad and I'm showing it off and look how cool it is. And then every single new one that I pick up is going to join it, and now I'm like, okay, so I have to get more because obviously I want the best squad possible. And I don't just want a bunch of the like the little walrus creatures are fine, but I don't want a bunch of them. So now I need to get more.
You know,
I don't
like,
need
these are the rat-a-tatas of this game. You know, it's like we don't want a whole squad of these.
I can now hold 8 creatures in my flock. Hell yeah. 8 more walruses.
Yeah, I feel like
I am
this
attempting to charm this right now, and I did really good, and it didn't give it to me. So
I just understood the mechanic of how to do it because I kept failing it.
I know it says I keep scaring the critters.
You have to line it up, like
Yes.
line up the little parentheses.
Okay.
Yeah.
Got
Yeah.
it. Okay.
It's like a kind of a. It's like instead of evoking rhythm, like a rhythm game, it's kind of like a distance
yes,
game. Like you're just about like.
Yeah.
And there's a thing in the settings I think too to make it more simplistic if you like want to. But the last thing I want to say on this game, like to sort of, to a very specific audience, this will like evoke what the feeling of this game is. To me, this game feels like how that scene from Hitch where they're on the water ski.
Jesus Christ.
Like,
okay.
It feels like that scene, like when "Don't You Worry About a Thing" plays by Stevie Wonder, and they take off, and it's like New York. I think it's actually a cover of the Stevie Wonder song, but whatever. That feeling, like how that shot looks, that's how I feel playing this game. So, you know, gamers of a certain age and rom-com fandom will know exactly what I mean. If you had Hitch on UMD for PSP, you're entitled to my conversation. So,
y'all. If I am shouting to you so you can find me. I found a thing. I found a very important thing. The big comet thing.
Oh yeah, I've been searching for that one.
Okay. Well, I'm on its tail. I'm gonna get it.
you kind of sound like a soccer announcer.
Hoorah! No. I don't want to do this. Why are you doing this? I found a mustard collection kit patterns, which I don't need. I
New
need
clothes,
the thing
new
I was
clothes.
chasing. I got new clothes, which is great, but not what I was literally on the tail of the Emperor Cloud thing.
Come to me.
Where?
I don't know, ping.
Use your words.
You can hit Y and see where anyone else is as well. So it's kind of like both a
Okay,
ping
there he
pong
is.
and then, like, a call out.
Let's go,
Oh.
Mike.
Nice.
Oh, okay. I found it. Let's all get it, you guys. I believe in us.
Oh, they have kind of like almost a. What do they call it in Pokemon?
I'm
When you're
assisting.
in like those caves. It's kind of like the. Oh shoot! What's the?
I don't have the
It kinda
whistle.
It kind of has that where it's like you can all like chip in and
Oh,
help
the
with
raids.
something. Yeah, like the raids. Yeah.
Wait, who got
Did
it?
somebody get it? Who got it?
I think Janet did.
Janet did?
Maybe.
Wow. Gamer.
Yeah. Hell yeah.
Yeah.
Congrats, Janet.
Yeah, my hippos were hungrier. There we go. What's everyone else's standout for this week of titles?
I'm a little freak, so I'm very excited for Click Holding.
Yeah, I'm so excited. It's
Oh,
30
man.
minutes too. Have you played it yet? Has anyone played it yet?
Not
I
yet.
played it last night.
Okay.
It took me about...
Are you changed?
Honestly, I feel like it's one of those games where I think it's like art level. You know, I think some people are gonna play it and they're gonna be like, I don't get it. It's just clicking. Like, I don't
What
get
is
it.
this game? Because I feel like it's impossible. To my mind, I'm like, I've been watching this since like a week ago and so figured out what it was. But for everyone else who doesn't know it, like, what is this game?
Yeah, so this game, basically, it's first person. You are a character who wakes up in the middle of this, like, kind of bedroom, and you're holding one of those clickers like they have at, like, Costco, you know, when they're counting the people who, like, enter and exit. And there is a masked person in front of you, and this person is telling you to click this clicker. And so the entire premise of the game is you click in the clicker, and this really horrible, uneasy tension between you and this person in front of you. I would say going in with just that knowledge is probably, like, I would not go in with more, honestly, because a lot of it is the interaction that you have with this person. Very, like, they have content warnings for depictions of suicide, for intense and, like, distressing sort of situations. I would say that is the case, for sure. So read the content warnings. It was very intense playing it last night. I played it in the dark, which also I think made it even more intense. But I thought it was really, really good. It's tough because it's one of those where it's you don't want to
talk about it.
Yeah,
'Cause you don't want to
the
mess it up.
discovery is entirely in, like, as you play what happens between you and this person. But you are clicking a lot. I will tell you. By the end, I was like, I'm gonna have carpal tunnel because this game. I'm gonna have to send Salivir my medical bills.
I do think there is an accessibility option where you can just hold to click also,
Yes, you can.
which I might take advantage of that.
You can. I will. The one pro tip, if you want to, I noticed you can use the space bar and the left click and, like, double time it.
Oh.
On it go a little faster.
Whoa.
So yeah, definitely take advantage if you are getting impatient. But I thought
It
it was
seemed
great.
like
Real quick, come to this wind tunnel.
Okay, I'm coming to the wind tunnel. Oh yeah, with the tornado.
And then you could just, like, zoom out.
Just
Like, you
having a
leave
great-
it and go
just
super
having a great
fast.
time.
By the way, there is a map and you could put markers down if you need to.
Yes, I found it earlier there. Yeah, and I can see kind of you guys where you're going around. And Jane is out here, like, trying to get me to do stuff. I'm like, Jane, calm down.
I need
I'm just trying to
I need a sheer little buttercup.
do it. It looks so stupid.
I love stupid animals.
It looks so stupid. Hold on, I want to see if I can do it again. No, I can't.
Well, now there's
I am. Oh, go ahead.
No, you're fine. I'm yelling at not Janet, Jane. Too many J's. Another J I have to worry about.
I will say I am very excited. I have not started yet, but I have copies of Bow,
Same.
Path of the Lotus. I have a copy of Dungeons of Hinterberg. I haven't started yet. I played the demo. I enjoyed the demo. There were some areas of, like, slight clunkiness with Dungeons of Hinterberg that I'm hoping as I play just maybe have worked themselves out. But I'm very excited for Dungeons of Hinterberg.
Yeah,
Same with Magical Delicacy.
Oh my gosh, I've played a little bit of Bow. I've played a few hours of Magical Delicacy, and I have rolled credits on Dungeons of Hinterberg.
So
As far as
busy.
yeah, it's been a busy week. I think the clunkiness has to some degree been dealt with.
Awesome.
I spoke to I spoke to the developers a little bit about how their experiences went with like the play tests and the Steam Next Fest demo, and like they got some good, like I would really like a sprint button is probably one of the ones that they said the most often. And I'm like, yeah, no, that makes sense. I think combat continues to be pretty straightforward. There's not a lot. This is not the game for someone who wants to push their combat prowess. But it is so just entertaining, you know. It's like it's just fun to be in that world. It's never oversharing or overstaying its welcome with anything. All of the puzzles are sort of like, they're not gonna be head scratchers, but they all just click into place really satisfyingly. Oh, I found a Emperor thing if anybody needs it.
I do. I'm coming. I thought I'd come back into town to shoot the sheep. You do not.
No, you just have to do it in the menu. Go get it. Jenny's on the case.
I'm going.
But yeah, as far as like click holding goes, I think that the release was an interesting roller coaster. I don't know if anyone saw that.
I saw there was like last minute panic and then eventually released at like 9 p.m. Eastern last night.
It was set to go to release July 16th, and it did release July 16th. But not until later that evening, 'cause from what I understand, there was some kind of bug that implied things they did not mean to imply in the game. And I don't know what that means, and I'm sort of afraid to ask.
Yeah.
But
I'm scared.
yeah, that must have been a scary moment we should have him on and have him talk about how terrifying it is to have day of problems that you are just rushing to get done. Adds to the element of the game, the flavor.
Yeah. I will say, with 2 moments, I think that are an exception, the entirety of the game is like more tense, atmospheric, like building of dread versus jump scare. So just for anyone who's listening and curious, like, oh, is this a horror game? Like, is there tons of blood and gore and all this stuff going on? No. You're just clicking.
I'm so excited to play this because like
It's an art house ass game. I'm so excited.
Yeah,
It is.
The
It's
trailer
definitely, yeah.
does look uneasy, you know, like and the pitch is just creepy. It's like this guy's in this chair and it's like, whoa, what's going on?
Don't say it like that.
I mean, that's how he says it. that's because of the implication, you know. It's like
The implications, of course.
Yeah, no, yeah, like, literally. So, but I'm like, what about this could be tense, you know? And like, obviously, I don't want the answer to that. Like, I want to play it for myself. But it's like, okay, like it's kind of like weird, but it's like, I'm just so excited by this bizarre idea. And yeah, like this studio is cranking out games. Like they're it's wild this week.
Yeah.
Why do you write like you're running out of time?
Yeah, honestly. Yeah.
And I think it's like under $3. It's like $2-something USD.
It's $2.69.
So-
I want to say.
Oh my gosh.
Again, the implications.
The implications.
The implications.
For why am I acting like this guy's a creep? Because the game is creepy. Like the vibes are creepy. Like that's the whole game.
Mm-hmm.
That's the game.
Yeah. Yeah, I really liked it. I think what I love the most about it is I will remember that game forever. Like, and I can't say that personally about a lot of games, but like playing the 30, I think I ended up spending about 40 minutes with the game. The 40 minutes I spent with the game seared into my brain. So yeah, I think that for me is really cool. Yeah, oh my gosh. It will sizzle if you play.
I just wanted to stop by and see everybody's little herd.
I'm trying to release these little hippos.
So you can't release, as far as I
know.
know, you can't just release them. You have to catch more and push them out.
Oh, I see.
Wow. You can't sit with us anymore.
Yeah.
So sad.
So I only have 2 of my initial hippos. remaining.
Oh, and you set him as favorite. Gotcha.
What is this? There's something shiny over here.
Yeah.
Oh no, it's a person. Who am I coming up to?
I'll also add that I also have a key for bow, but I have not started it yet.
I played a few hours of it. It is so ridiculously unfair for that game to be as beautiful as it is and mechanically good as it is. I'm just like, no, you can't have both. You have to pick one. For anyone who has not seen it, Bow is a sort of Metroidvania, but the art style is traditional ink painting. And it's so beautiful. It is so beautiful. It has a really funny, light humor to it. It's like your character's essentially just been born and they sort of act like it, and everything, even though things seem very ominous and scary things are going on around you, they always seem just kind of like, okay, this is what's happening now. And like the animation is so charming. I love all of the mechanics are fluid. I don't think, like, which I think a lot of people are going to compare this to like a Nine Souls, but I think if you look at those two games, Nine Souls is definitely going to be the grittier, more intense, combat-oriented, more Dark Souls-esque kind of game, where this is going to be a much more accessible version of that for a lot of people. Not to say that it's super easy, but there's a lot of signposting. You're not going to you're not going to not know what to do. You're not going to not know how the game wants you to progress. And especially for like the combat that the bosses that I've done so far, it's all, okay, here's the gimmick. As soon as I know what that gimmick is, then I know how to proceed, and I know how to win. So yeah, it's been very, very good so far. I'm excited to see more of it.
Awesome.
But I think the game that I am the most excited to see more of, and I'm not surprised because I've played this before, was Magical Delicacy. And like, Jenny, if you play this game on stream, I will watch it forever because this is such a Jenny game that I was playing it. I'm like, I don't deserve to be playing this. I need to give this to Jenny right now.
You deserve to play this, Jill.
It's so good, Jenny.
I was intrigued since Whitethorn started talking about it. But I saw yesterday Emma Flint of Gaming Bible, the first 10 she ever gave out.
Ooh.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Wow. So we'll see.
It's
pretty impressive.
Yeah. I mean, it's such an interesting game because here's essentially the pitch of it, right? Like, it is a cooking sim platformer.
Yeah.
And like, try to imagine what that means. And you probably can't because it's not a game combination I have literally ever come across before.
What's the feel like? Because that's been my one hesitation. Like, I love the pitch of this game, but every time I look at trailers, it seems a little stiff. Is that just, like, how does it feel?
It feels good. It's good.
Okay.
It's probably just the animation style, right? That kind of like looks a little stiff, maybe.
Possibly, yeah. It is like a pixely sort of vibe to it. You play as a witch, whose powers kind of focus in the culinary area. And you start off like you were born in the north, but for some reason the north is just not really cool with witches for whatever reason. So your character, she's turned 21, and decided, I'm gonna strike out on my own, go to a place known for its tolerance for witches, and start up a shop. And that's kind of what you do.
I enjoyed the story of the demo, but the one thing I found a little bit maybe clunky was both placing items around your cooking area as well as just the menus within the cookings themselves. And I don't know, maybe I'll go back in and it just hadn't clicked for me at that point, but do you feel like that felt pretty smooth overall?
I actually sort of remember feeling that way about the demo, but not when playing the final game. So I don't know if they move things around to make that a little more intuitive. But one of the things I really like about this game, it is based, a lot of the action is based around you cooking. So when you look into the menus, you can pin things, and then there is a menu that you can click down on one of your sticks and it'll pop in and out, which is really clever and really like small, but it's a really nice quality of life thing. So that you can see, here's the quest I'm interested in, here's the recipe that could possibly I could deliver to that person. Here are the like ingredients that I have, and it's just like click click. I can see it, it's there. I'm ready to go. I really, really, really enjoy how they have handled that. I think what might be hard for people, I sort of came to think of it as more of a like survival game. When you get a new piece of equipment in a survival game, you suddenly have like all these different things you can now make. Like if you get a forge, you can suddenly like, oh, I can forge iron or whatever, you know. It's sort of like that. Like you start out the game with essentially just a faucet and a cooking pot. So you can make a stew, you can make like a soup, and that's about it. But as you gain more money by selling your soup, you get the ability to go down to the shops, which, by the way, it sounds like it should be easy. You just leave your shop and go to like the forger or bakery or whatever. But all of the town is built around being a platformer, so it's all these like bizarre like pulley systems and platforms, and some places you can't even get to unless it's nighttime, because some of the platforms are like they shine under the moon and that's how you know where they are. Other things, like you get skills eventually where you can double jump, and now it's like, oh, a whole new section of the world has been opened up. It is amazing how small the demo feels now, having opened up just a few more areas of the town. And I'm like, oh my gosh, this is going to be such a long game to play, and I'm really excited to do it. But yeah, trying to get down to the shops is a test of skill in and of itself, which I really enjoy, that interplay of like nice it's so cozy. It is so cozy. You're in there. All of the landscapes are beautiful, and all of the people are diverse and welcoming and have their own little mundane plights of like, oh, my husband goes out seafaring every day and I just want to make his day and have a picnic, so you could make me a sandwich. And then you're like, yeah, I'm gonna make your day better, I'm gonna get you that sandwich.
I thought you were gonna be like, why is my husband never home?
But then in order to make a sandwich, you know, you have to go get an oven, so then you have to go down to get hopefully that so you can make bread for your sandwich. And you know, it's kind of one of those, from there you get another delivery, you get another quest, and you're like, okay, now I have to get this because I need that, because I need this, because of that. And that is my kind of game. But it's also just, all of the music is so calming. It's got really nice ability to like garden, so you never have to worry too much about running out of ingredients, or trying to make enough money to buy all of your ingredients. Or you can go around the world and just forge different ingredients and then experiment and see what sorts of combinations of things make different things. I just made a flavored flatbread on accident because I didn't have anything else to put together with my bread. So I'm like, let me just see what happens. And now I have a flatbread. And no one needs a flatbread. It's not a part of my quest system. So I have unlocked recently the ability to just passively sell my stuff, which, you know, it's like, okay, that's really helpful because now I'm making money in order to get the next thing that I need. And on top of all of this, there is a story, which I've not gotten deep into, but I think the demo had this as well. You kind of stumble upon a couple of other witches who are in the middle of some sort of dispute, and you get kind of pushed into holding like this contraband egg. And you're like, I don't know what this egg is about, but I guess I'll hold on to it. So
Get the
there are
setup.
implications.
Don't go holding stuff for people if you don't know what it is.
Yeah, we don't know what it is, but it's an interesting setup to kind of figure out, like, okay, who are these people? What is the conflict here? Why is this thing so important? And what is going to pop out of this egg eventually? So there's a lot that's really cool and really fun to go check out, and just hanging out and cooking in your shop is a ton of fun. Those are my thoughts on magical delicacy.
I'm excited. I'm excited to get back in, because especially after hearing you talk about it and feeling how it's definitely not. It feels different than the demo, and it feels improved in some of the like gameplay ways and some of the polish. So yeah, I'm like anything in terms of cooking. Which games I'm there, anything with the city by the sea, which is what this game is. Like it's very like Jessica, so I'm excited to play it.
I don't appreciate the sass from Jane. Like,
Yeah.
listen, I get it. I got the animal name wrong. Clearly, you knew what it was because you corrected me. Just tell me, all right?
Yeah, it's like, I know what it is, but
Don't
I want
waste
to
my
make sure
time.
you know.
Yeah, listen, I'm out here doing the work, flocking
Right.
around.
I don't know if you're paying me. I don't know.
Oh, I'm definitely not getting paid for this.
But this game has that classic like teacher construction of like, that's not what I was looking for. That it's incorrect.
Yes.
Does anyone else want to give a good answer? You kind of look survey the room. You know?
You were so close. Let's try again.
Now, what if we heard from someone who knew what they were talking about? We have that person in the room. You know?
Oh, you'll get it next time, though. Whoa.
I think the other game that I really want to shout out that I'm not getting like a lot of people talking about is Gestalt, Steam, and Cinder. It's going to be for a certain.
You're Gestalt's biggest fan, I feel like.
I am. I'm going like it's not going to be a game for everyone. It's a certain type of old school. Once you leave a room and come back, all of the bad guys are back kind of Metroidvania. But like if you're looking for that vibe, then you know it's got a very dramatic, politically charged, seemingly black and white. Like the world is ending, it's on your shoulders to figure out. Like you're the hero, kind of story to it. But if that is your vibe, like this is going to be a fun game for you. So you should go check that out.
I should put that on my list because I loved the demo and that just honestly fell off my radar. So I'm glad that you pointed that out.
Man, I don't know where anybody went. I haven't gone back to the village to talk about my emperor or whatever.
I'm trying to
On a hill of holes. Like literally it's like a hill of holes. It's kind of scary.
I'm trying to find more whistles, which are all on like the things that the sheep need to graze.
All the
The hills.
I don't know how many
Get more sheep.
listening know that it's too short, right? Yeah. Just carry on.
Yeah. Yep.
Okay, hold on. I know Jane is
and
around here
Our
somewhere.
cultured listeners will know exactly
I found one.
what I'm talking about.
I do appreciate this aspect of the co-op because there were some of these mountaintops or these little hills that y'all sheeps grazed already, and it was able
Yes.
to just like pop up on my radar. And I was able to just collect the thing.
Oh,
So like I'm grazing one right now. So once Buttercup is done over here, it'll pop up on your radar so you could collect the thing.
Oh yeah, what did everybody else name their sheep?
I didn't realize that I couldn't edit it, so I just hit like A. So mine's called
I mean, Muncher's a good name.
You thought
Little Muncher Garcia over here.
you thought I was feeling you as sheep, man. I don't know.
Oh, that's so funny. I have a Buttercup,
yeah.
but honestly, Muncher, respect.
Oh.
Yeah.
Oh,
Wish I
yeah,
had
reach
just-
the grasslands now. Jenny, I can come join you.
Oh yeah.
It is nice that this is a game where you can just play together but independently. It's like it's
Yeah,
like
just
it's
do
a
your thing.
parallel play of the game, but there is
Yeah.
a little bit of like interconnectivity with oh, if you're next to me you can help me do something, or you know, if you're somewhere, I can like go to where you are. Maybe you found something I'm looking for, or what have you. So, yeah, I really appreciate a game that sort of stays in its lane, but then rocks its lane really well. Like, I feel like there's not, you know, a massive amount going on in Flock. It is a very specific style of game that has, admittedly, I'd say a little bit more of a narrow audience than like other titles might, because it's not like an action adventure or something more generalized, but it really gets all the juice out of this orange, to me, from like my experience with it. So yeah, it's a nice little time.
Yeah, I'm like,
I don't know. I don't like playing, like, I'm very specific with the multiplayer games I play. Like, I
Same.
tried playing Final Fantasy online with folks, and it honestly felt so pressuring to me. Like, I just couldn't, because everyone's like, we're waiting for you to finish the cutscene. And I'm like, I hate that you said that. Like, I don't want people to wait for me. I just want to do my thing. Like, I think probably Overcooked is, like, one of the few multiplayer games that I truly enjoy.
Yeah,
And,
same.
like, with other than that, it's very limited. And so this is so nice because, like you said, the parallel play is just perfect if you are maybe light on the multiplayer in your life.
Yeah.
You've always wanted to play, just like chill with folks.
Have y'all found any strange residue yet? Because I found my first one where I'm at. If you want to come over.
I'm trying to decide what kind of glebe this
is.
is. Stupid.
I also have a little hill thing that my sheep is working on.
Okay, I'm coming to you.
The noises in this game are very good. I will say, like, when you get
Very good
close to
noises.
something special, it'll make a little sound so you know that thing's there. All the, I don't know, they're not birds. Your flock sounds.
Birds.
Yeah, bird-like things.
Yes,
They're
new whistle.
Very good.
Oh, I need to get
Yeah,
so
near
many
me
more
is the whistle.
whistles.
Same. Near me is the whistle for the pipers.
I also love a game that you can do and succeed at without having to do almost any thinking at all. And while there's like things happening in the game, there's things to do. Like I feel like I can stumble into success in this game just by way of if you're floating around enough, you click A when it says click A, like you'll figure out what you need to do. You don't really have to, you know, think or strategize or, you know, intertwine the lore of, you know, and I think there's nothing wrong with a game like that, but I think Flock knows it wants to be a relaxing, wallpaper-esque kind of moment, and it does that. It's like, hey, you're walking around, maybe some text pops up. If you don't read it, you'll probably still figure it out later, and I think it leans really nicely.
Yeah, Jenny, for some reason it says the sheep is for you. So I'm leading you to it.
Thanks. I am so flush with sheep right now.
I just need one more.
Yeah, on your map, if you go to the hole that's near 8 is where that little strange residue is. I am heading to another hill. Okay. That's also where the piper whistle is.
I'm headed out that way. I think you're coming back. We're gonna pass each other.
Yeah. Hi, bye.
My friend.
Man, like we were mentioning Animal Crossing earlier. This is like the perfect lockdown game.
Yes.
Honestly,
not like
yeah.
you know.
It's never
I'm
too
saying,
late to
you know.
advocating for it to come back. Yeah.
Yeah.
Honestly,
you know.
it's not that safe out there still. So I
know.
It's a good
I mean,
time.
yeah.
Yeah. You know, it's
This
always
is a
good time to
perfect-
shut the door.
A perfect post November 5th game.
Wow. Oh man. What a moment in time.
Too many of those, you know.
Another unprecedented moment.
No, I could go my whole life without having another one of these. Oh, hey, I found the whistle for the piper.
What though? But you
Yeah.
won't.
The glee.
I got the glebe whistle.
Oh, I want a glebe whistle. Where?
Where I'm at.
Ugh. I need time to.
You were by
Explore
here
all
earlier
these
when we
places.
passed. Oh my god, what is that?
What?
Hold on.
Oh, I'm coming.
What are you? You little fucking
I'm-
freak.
You can't ask people that, Mike.
Yeah.
It's like a
it's
whale.
not-
The little whale.
A whale?
Oh, Mike's like, but where's your family from? So I'm like, whoa.
Oh, I don't have the whistle for the droops. Oh, is it not a droop? It's a glebe? Oh, I have the whistle for the glebe. Let's
Where's
go.
the glebe whistle? I need it.
It's by me. If you hit Y, you could see the hills that you
I'm
haven't
going.
gathered the stuff from.
I'm coming towards you, Mike. I'm using the fast travels to just go at high speed.
Are we in a where we've been playing kind of?
I've been playing.
Yeah,
I've been playing
let's-
Flock.
Yeah, I'm playing Flock. It's great. Hold on. Okay, I'm here. What are we looking at? Oh, it's literally a whale.
Yeah, right?
I want this.
It's mine. I
You
claim
said
it.
it was a glebe?
Yeah, I got the glebe whistle. Go get your glebe whistle.
Okay, I'm going to look for the glebe whistle. I'm going. The painted bowls, a new landscape. Landmark is added to my map. Okay, I got the whistle for the skyfish. I don't know what that is.
I don't have the skyfish yet. I think most of mine I've already talked about because I played click holding, Flock. I think the only one I haven't, which I think Mike you've played a bit more of, and Jill, I don't know Janet if you've started it, was Nine Souls.
Oh yeah.
No, I can't.
A little bit.
It's too hard.
I
That's
can't
why I
imagine
started.
Jenny playing Nine Souls. I'm really excited to hear how you feel about that.
I really, really like it. I think,
Ooh.
like Bo, it has really beautiful. It's not as like lush, I would say, not as richly sort of intricate in its background environments, but it's still very strikingly beautiful. It's definitely aligned more with horror for folks who look at it and are like, "Oh, cool Metroidvania." It's gritty, it's dark.
It's gnarly.
Yeah, it's great. It's really good. And so the story is awesome. And what I have found most impressive, yes, solid exploration, good. The combat is quite, I would say, for being as challenging as it is, it's tutorialized quite clearly. I am not a person who parries. I'm not a person who dodges. I get very easily overwhelmed when combat needs to be like specific and a bit more precise. And Nine Souls has afforded me this very rare opportunity to feel successful and to actually be successful in parrying and dodging. With the one exception I would say is occasionally there will be like rooms or waves of enemies that I feel like get a little bit overwhelming. Like where I stopped this morning when I was playing, there's just this area I'm in where I'm like, I cannot get, there's just too many enemies and I just don't have, I think, the right attack to like crowd control. So I'm getting a little bit stuck there, but it's my first time getting stuck in a couple of hours of play. So I feel like that's pretty solid for a game that I think is designed to be, and I'm playing it on standard. I'm not playing it on story mode. So I think
Jill,
if I
come
need to,
near
I
me.
can just drop it down.
Hold on, I'm catching a glebe.
I found another whale one.
Okay, I'm coming. Yeah, Jenny, I think I'm very excited to hear you say that because I know that I am a big fan of this style of game and I have played it before, but I'm very interested to see how people feel about it. So I'm really glad to hear that it is something approachable for you.
I will
it
say
is.
I do have like for folks who are totally brand new, I would say maybe start with the story mode. Like if you've never played any games that are aligned in the Souls sort of genre, like I would say maybe start on story, or I don't know, you do what you want, you live your lives.
Backseat gamer.
Yeah, I think knowing that recently I've been playing a little bit of Elden Ring, I've played like Tunic and like a variety of other sort of Souls-like games, I think they have primed me to feel successful in this one, where the added element is you have to parry, you have to dodge, which are skills I've avoided in every other version of a Souls-like. So, yeah, so it's pretty cool.
Yeah, and for people who don't know the game, the thing that kind of sets it apart from these... Oh no, I spooked it, Mike! I spooked it! That sets it apart from these other games is the basic mechanic is not actually hitting and striking for fighting, but deflecting and parrying.
Yeah.
Which is a really cool system.
And yeah, Jenny, I'm like you. I'm not a parry person, but I think the parry mechanics and like the signposting for the parrying is real good.
It's so
I love me a good
clear.
red flash, you know?
Yeah, it's like they have really distinct visual markers. Like the timing is super clear. They have
Yep.
auditory cues. Like I want every game that who wants to include parrying to take note from this one, because I feel like in every other game I've experienced thus far in my life, parrying is just so obtuse, and I feel like in my head I press the button when it's the right time, but it never seems to click or doesn't click consistently. So the fact that this, which I was so nervous because I'm like, if this game is designed to be a game about parrying, I will probably not enjoy myself, and I was prepared to put the game down. And it has not been the case, which has been wonderful.
I think also it is a really interesting marriage between sort of sci-fi and kind of classical, historical fantasy, I guess. It is so interesting to see how those two play together.
Is it Taoist?
Taoism, yeah.
Yeah, Taoism. They say, the developers say that they're calling this genre like Tao Punk, which is really cool.
Hell yeah.
Because you have this like very like grounded in this philosophy sort of narrative and world, and then you have this really industrial, gritty vibe. It's good.
And the story is really actually moving as well. Like you're sort of getting to understand what has happened, because the game starts, this should not be a spoiler because it's literally the beginning of the game, and I think we've seen trailers all over with this, but the game starts with the main character being killed essentially, and so you're kind of working back and figuring out why that has happened. I found a chicken thing.
I found the whistle in this area. I just realized the map marks which whistles you're missing per area.
Oh, that's nice.
See, I was never gonna know that because I'm not reading anything.
Yeah, I'm flying.
Yeah,
I'm just flying around.
I'm just having such a good time.
Like, ass backwards and stuff. Like I haven't looked at anything, and I'm like, oh, maybe at the end, like maybe when I'm done or like almost done, I'll like start to think. But until I have to think, why would I opt into that? No, thank you. Yeah, I actually didn't know that it had a story mode. Apologies if one of you guys have mentioned that. I just forgot. See, but like, don't give me hope. You know what I mean? I'm like, I kind of like writing this off as like a game. Like, sorry, I can't play it. It's not just that I'm busy and tired. It's that I like can't do it. Yeah, but everyone's been kind of raving about it. It's interesting because I feel like we. And I'm sure as I say this, like, which y'all are welcome to, it's kind of why I'm asking the question, like, we're, I think, a little bit over the halfway mark of the year. Like, what is this year's, like, hit the mainstream indie? Because I think Nine Souls is, like, on the cusp, because I've seen a lot of people talk about it, like, outside of just, like, us. But I don't know if what is this year's, like, big, the kind of the, like the one that we know will get like kind of put up for like awards or in those conversations on like bigger sites lists. Like I'm not sure that we have it.
If we're talking about games that hit mainstream, I think Crab Game did.
Yeah, I don't know if it got
like
as much love.
It though,
Yeah, but it was like all over.
Definitely up there.
Yeah, all over TikTok and stuff. Like I think general gaming audiences know what Crab Game is.
Yeah. Balatro is definitely going to be one of those.
Balatro, yeah, I think Balatro is the answer, yeah. You're probably right.
I think the only reason that I'm concerned Nine Souls won't be is because it just came out at such a weird time that no one was able to sort of cover it, and now we're all sort of going back and discovering it.
Yeah.
Oh, I found the residue that you guys were talking about.
Oh, cool. Did I get that one? I didn't get that one.
Okay.
I'm still trying to find the whistle for this area. Oh no, I did get that song.
On my end of things, I finally played Monty a little bit.
Ooh, yeah, tell us about it.
Yeah, I really liked it. I had played it a year ago at not the most recent SGF, but the one before that, so last year's SGF. And honestly, from the demo, like from just initially playing it, it didn't, and I don't know if the demo that's public facing is longer, but I love the art style. So the art style is, it's like all black and white, really sort of an emphasis on coloration and almost like a line drawing kind of look. I'd say looking at screenshots of Haunty is kind of reminiscent of if you ever did those, at least at times, like if you look at a wide environmental screenshot, it kind of reminds me of like back in the day when I was a kid. I used to love doing the mazes, like those maze books.
Oh yeah.
And while they're not as like, you know, flooded visually as that, I feel like aspects of the environmental design remind me of that, or almost like, again, it's less complex looking, but what was that mazy puzzle game that was on Apple Arcade? Gosh, I forget what it's called. Okay, I can't pull it next because I don't remember the name of it, but it kind of has like this really like distinct, dramatic, environmental design when you like look at the big picture of stuff. And then, you know, moment to moment, it's pretty zoomed in. You're kind of walking around. It's essentially an adventure game, but it is also kind of a twin-stick shooter. Like, there's combat in this game, and it's really surprising in that sense. Like, the genre scene is actually an adventure, but I think glancing at it, it feels like, oh, this must be like a walking sim story game. So I think it's interesting in that it has such like a narrative and chill presentation, but still evokes gameplay. There's also a like capture mechanic in this game, so you're again, spoilers for nothing because it's like the whole idea of the game, but you're like dead, you know, and it like becomes clearer that like it kind of slowly unravels over the, you know, first 10, 20, 30 minutes, hour of, okay, like I'm dead, am I in hell, like am I in the, you know, purgatory kind of thing. Like sort of the first thing that happens is you're like a kind of angel being comes down and you're like spinning up towards presumably the heavens, and then you like come crashing down, and then you're with this like community of presumably like other dead people who are like, hey, like I see you trying to get up there. So you know, and then you also forgot everything. Classic video game stuff, like you don't have your memories.
Classic.
Which, not gonna lie, this kind of gave me a little bit of like a sense of existential dread just thinking about like if the afterlife does exist. Not to get all like religious on everybody.
No, please do.
The idea, I never thought, because you know, maybe it's because I was raised Catholic. When I conceive of the afterlife, I think of like, you know, just kind of this, and it's like, I don't know, maybe we have wings and stuff. Like it's chill times. But I never, I never
So
thought
flock.
About,
Yeah.
flock basically. We're hanging
Okay.
out, like people filtering it out. You know, it's chill. But Haunty is interesting in that, you know, and not that it's the only thing to evoke this for like a depiction of the afterlife, but this idea of what if you just were and you like don't have memories of who you were before, and I'm like, like I hope that's not the case. Like I don't want to have to exist again, but not know that I existed before. Like, jeez. Anyway,
Haunty struck a real existential crisis in you.
Yeah, like I think it's interesting because it looks so like kind of cute and chill, but it does have this like deeper layering of things happening. It also kind of reminds me a little bit of Cozy Grove in that you're walking around and interacting with these really cute and charming and odd looking creatures who might give you like small quests. There's also like these sort of tiny tasks and mini games you can play as you're exploring an area. Like one of the ones I did was two people were racing, like it was a foot race, and they're like, oh my god, like we're racing, yay, and then you can join them in racing, and if you do that you get like whatever the in-game currency is that like you collect things for like maybe like cosmetic stuff. There's also a freaking progression system in your abilities, like you can like fire they're not bullets, but they're like little star bullet things, and like okay, you can increase that, like so there's just a lot happening sort of under the hood to Haunty. But the moment to moment is sort of, at least this early on, I'm like, you know, an hour or so in, it is kind of that string of mini games, tiny quests, leaning on exploration style of gameplay. So, and it's also kind of, you know, to sort of tie it back into Flock, it also sort of has that less is more mindset to its level design, which I think is really effective in what they're doing, where you enter an area and there is like a lot of open space, but it sort of encourages you to, you know, use your possession ability to like go into a lamppost and like see if when you go up high, do you see something new, like. So yeah, there's just like a lot to explore and interact with, and there's again, like I mentioned, there's like combat in it. So I'm really enjoying it. It's also a game that just feels very intuitive in what you do. So there's not like a lot of necessarily like explicit tutorialization, but just through like way of design and the ability to just being so intriguing, like just like that capture one that you can like go into different objects. It's like, well, I want to go in and see, does this have like a special animation, or is there a special thing I can do when I possess this thing? And you might realize, oh my god, it's actually a turret, like, or it's, you know, it can open up some door or, you know, something or other. So it's like a really, really cool game. Just to sum it up, I think if you're someone that's open to, if you like exploration and distinct art with a little bit of combat, I think this is definitely a game that you want to check out. Yeah, it's a lot deeper than I thought it would be, and I was talking to someone in my chat who had like beaten it, and they're like, oh yeah, like it continues to build, and then like the story unfolds in like a cool way, according to one person. You know, again, I haven't actually seen it through yet, but yeah, I'm really liking it. It also kind of reminds me, I think, structurally and narratively of Toem in a way, in the sense that I think Toem is a good example of a game that doesn't have a very complex story. Like, the plot points are very basic, but when I reached the end of Toem, I'm like, wow, what a beautiful way to finish what you set out to do for the player without necessarily, you know, hitting me with a bunch of dramatic plot points or you know, expressive dialogue or anything. So yeah, Haunty's just like a delightful time. It's a little longer than I expected it to be. I think the how long to beat is sitting at like an 8 to 10, which I'm like, oh, I don't know if I kind of wished it was like just shorter so I could knock it out a little quicker. But I'm really enjoying what I played so far. So yeah, this one came out back in May, and it's on Switch, PS5, PS4, Xbox One, Steam via PC. And after that, I have to click to see more, and then it gets weird. So, you know, they're like Linux, and I'm like, look, I wanted the regular answer to Google. You didn't need to tell me everything. It's like everything, literally everything. But yeah, check it out. Really,
It's on
really
Game Pass also.
Sweet. Yeah. If you
Go
still
check
have
it out.
Game Pass.
If you still have Game Pass.
Or maybe honestly, like, you know, hot take of like turn the negative to a positive. If you're someone who's like, you know what, I don't want to pay extra, I'm gonna cancel it. Now's your time to get the last, you know, one last round at the bar before it closes down. You know, why not? Throw Haunty on the pile.
I did see,
It's better
thanks to one Wario 64, I saw somebody is selling 3 months of Game Pass Ultimate for like $30, and you could stack those. So hey, how about it?
I am so excited. I have just found another whale. No, it spooked it again.
There's like,
Sadness.
I don't know what it is. There's some sort of puzzle or something here where I'm around these mounds. They look like lawns, but of hay or something. But you like circle them, and then you can go between them and circle them, and they make noises.
Okay, I'm headed to your direction.
Yeah. I don't know what I'm supposed to do, but it seems
Okay.
like a puzzle.
I see the mounds.
Yeah, if you use A to circle them, and then you can use, I think, the right trigger to move between them. Ooh, I guess it's just pretty time, or
I think it's just a momentum thing. Or yeah, pretty time.
It might be pretty time.
pretty time.
I'm having good pretty time with you, Jenny.
Yay.
So I do actually want to shout out, we're having a great week this week with all of the games we've been talking about, but next week is also ridiculously good. Some of the games coming out next week that I want to shout out is Ete, the kind of water painting
Yes.
Excited for
Yeah.
Ete.
exploration game. The Star Named EOS, which
Yes.
is a kind of picture-taking puzzle game. Slider, which is literally you
Yes.
move the thing around. A Ranger, that's going to be
Oh.
wild. And then the Garden Path is coming up soon as well.
God, what a banger of a week.
Yeah.
Again.
So
Again.
it's back to back to back. We have no time to stop. We are like partying indies all the way. That's why we're in Flock right now, just enjoying our lives.
Which a little peek behind the scenes. I hear my wife having trouble with downstairs, so my time is running short.
Okay, well, before you go, I want to do an unboxing
Yeah.
with you. So, Mike, explain what you have for us here. What is going on in the world?
I don't know. You gotta tell me.
Mike has found a box addressed to him at his front door. That is all he knows.
Let me
And
just black out my address so I don't dox myself.
you don't dox yourself.
I mean, you probably just open it and then.
I don't
Like,
trust
we-
myself
like-
that much.
Like yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah. 'Cause I'm like, I don't think you need to show necessarily the box. We know what an Amazon box looks like. Unfortunately.
Yeah. It's like we can prove that this is the box
Society.
it came in. I appreciate your wanting to commit to the unboxingness of the unboxing.
I was
Oh,
very
I've
excited.
discovered
I'm really bad at, like,
civilians.
I know you just bend it and then pull, but
Okay, there's a gift for you from Jill. What a lovely personalized
That's
note.
that's
Yeah.
so weird because we have a Jill on this podcast.
That's
why-
weird.
So I see it is an LED neon wall sign. As you remember from last week, unfortunately, there is a Furby neon sign in this
In
house
your
we're
house.
currently downstairs in the living room. Lit up. So, should I guess what creature awaits?
No, I want you just to. I want you to look at it.
What if it was just?
Oh
LED
my God.
sign?
Oh my God! Hold on, I gotta light it up.
You do. You absolutely have to light it up. That was a good reaction. I'm really glad for that.
Yeah, describe for us. What are you looking at?
Look at it!
I can't.
Sorry, I was telling Kelsey off camera as I try to hide it from the camera for a second.
Audio listeners, we also are in the dark, mostly about.
Oh, I'm about
what
to
is
light it
going-
up. You're not gonna be in the
Gonna light
dark
this
much
up.
longer.
Bringing a little light into our lives, as always. Well, I'm just around here looking for whale shark creatures. Bum bum bum!
Nice.
It's
For the
Shadow.
audio listeners, it is Shadow the Hedgehog.
Oh my gosh.
Jill, I
very
love
good.
you so much.
Yeah. I
Thank
hope
you.
that you enjoy.
Oh my
I
God.
think this is
It's going right
good-
next to Petey.
Oh my gosh, yes. It looks really good. I'm glad. I'm always afraid stuff
looks
like that's
so
gonna
good.
break in the mail.
Yeah,
I'm
in
glad it
transit.
didn't.
I love the
Oh.
focus. It's none of me right now.
Shadow is the
Yeah,
new member of
it's the new member. I think with that, y'all, this is a good place to go ahead and end the council this week. Thank you everybody for joining us. Thank you to everybody on the council. Thank you for everybody who is watching into this very unusual game based stream. We are I'm stuck. Okay, I'm stuck. I can't get out of Joyland. Yeah, if you are interested in watching more of us, you can follow us on Spotify and Apple Podcasts. The Indie Council also has its own socials at Indie Council _ at Twitter and at the Indie Council basically everywhere else. But this session is now closed. Go play some indies.
I was gonna say, hey, let's all gather together for one last final flock shot, but Janet left, so never mind. See you next week, gang.